Spoiler warning. The following discussion will contain spoilers. We recommend checking out the movie first, then coming back to hang with us. But if you don't care about that, glad to have you here.
I am Jason.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
And we are the Real Movie Guys. Welcome to Real Terror Month, a series where we discuss movies that will send chills down your spine. On today's episode, we'll be taking a look at Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Serial killer Jason Voorhees' supernatural origins are revealed. Yeah, that was like the most accurate summary I could find for this movie.
Great summary.
Yeah, so Jason's been through a lot of crap, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's ever been, well, this is his first outing through a rights dispute. Haha, see what I turned that into? So, what's missing from this title, John?
How terrible it is.
Maybe, but do you notice a phrase that's been the title of all these movies?
Oh, you mean Friday the 13th?
Yeah, so this movie's not called Friday the 13th because previously in our Jason Takes Manhattan review, which if you have not seen it, please check that out, New Line bought the rights to Jason Voorhees, but they did not buy the rights to Friday the 13th.
Oh, no.
So apparently they can say Jason Voorhees and whatever they want with that, but they can't call a movie Friday the 13th because that's still owned by the other party. So this movie and the next movie were severely impacted by that. So Friday the 13th is never mentioned. Even more weird is this movie completely ignores everything that's happened up until this point. And not for the better. I mean, Jason essentially died or was exorcised or whatever the hell happened to him and Takes Manhattan. I'm still kind of confused and lost and maybe a little upset at the same time. Mixed bag of emotions there. This movie just, I don't know what the hell they were doing. This is another like case of, I brought it up earlier where Jason's put into like a weird situation. This movie is probably the worst offender because it does it the worst out of all of them. I would even say more so than Takes Manhattan. This movie is Jason is the invasion of the body snatcher. I think we also retrograded a little bit in hindsight. Jason's no longer in this movie except for maybe 10 minutes. I think we got a 10-minute Jason cameo in total throughout this whole movie. Jason steals bodies now, apparently. Did you know that?
Such a dumb concept, too.
Oh, it's a really stupid concept. So they really leaned into the supernatural history of Jason Voorhees, even though there really wasn't one, and we just kind of made this up. This movie just went back and said, what if Jason's family was all supernatural, and they had these like supernatural lineage where his mom brought him back to life, and, he has to jump bodies in order to maintain his survival, and
tonight we can get that bastard. Tonight we can send Jason Voorhees straight to hell for all time.
You don't need me for that.
Yes, I do. Only through a Voorhees can he be reborn. And only a Voorhees can kill him. With that,
No, I won't put my baby in any more danger.
you will always be in danger until Jason is dead.
who thought this was a good idea? What was this? What was going on here? I don't understand.
Nobody. How does this concept even come to be, anyway? Like,
I don't know, but there
who
is
thought that this was a good idea?
there's a couple interesting things I'll say about this movie. The one really good thing, which it doesn't have a payoff really, unfortunately, is the inclusion of Evil Dead and Freddy Krueger. So the book that Jason uses to resurrect Jason in this movie, it's the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead series. That's how all the shenanigans happen in those movies. If you want us to cover those, let us know down in the comments. But essentially, that's the book that brings things back to life. So that would mean Jason was resurrected via the Necronomicon, which is kind of cool. It's a cool idea. I'm not against that. Then, at the very end of the movie, we get a little stinger at the end there, where Jason's mask, he's got dragged to hell. Spoilers, Jason goes to hell. He gets dragged down to hell, and then Freddy Krueger's claw comes up and grabs the mask and drags it down. That was supposed to set up the next sequel of the movies. The whole rumored series was supposed to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from Evil Dead. One of those characters didn't make it. That was Ash. You know, they couldn't come to getting the rights, and there was all, again, shenanigans once again with that. But eventually we did get Freddy vs. Jason, but I think it was over 10 years later. So, to whatever you want to say about that. We're not covering in this review. I do enjoy that movie, but I personally consider it more of a Freddy Krueger movie, which is why it won't be included in our series. If it's something you want us to take a look at, though, just let us know. Maybe that's something we'll look at. But, again, you know, these were great, cool ideas in a terrible, terrible movie, which, you know, this movie's silver lining could have been the lead up to that potential movie, which it's not. You know, it's not. Another pretty decent thing, I would say, in this movie is actually the gore. You know, for once, if you're a gore hound, I think you'll find, I mean, this movie's terrible. I don't want to lie to you. This movie's absolutely garbage, but there is some pretty radical gore in this movie, I'd have to say. Kind of to the point of being a little uncomfortable and unsettling.
Go to hell.
There's a lot of blood. The blood flows horribly through this movie. No pun intended.
Yes, that's a probe.
Bill.
It's also weird too, like how Jason transfers bodies too through like the tongue, and it seems like there's that one scene where the one guy, he's going to transfer into the other guy who he has got like strapped down or something, and like he puts his tongue in his mouth. It's just like,
What are you doing? You fuck!
a very strange way for him to go like from person to person too.
No, it is. It's incredibly weird. The whole idea of this is incredibly weird. I mean, Jason's practically making out with people to take their bodies. And this concept is just so stupid. Like it's one of those things, like when you really sit there and you think about it, like how did this get approved, right? Like how did this get approved as a movie?
But how did it get approved for a budget? Who said I'm gonna pay this amount of money for you to make this terrible movie? That baffles my mind right there.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's also not called Friday the 13th. While that does seem like not a huge thing. I mean, that does hurt it in name, which maybe that was best for the series that it technically wasn't related to Friday the 13th. It just doesn't make sense. Ultimately, is what I get to with this movie. Jason has like a half sister, and he has to take the body of a blood relative in order to make the transformation stick.
In a Voorhees was he born. Through a Voorhees may he be reborn. And only by the hands of a Voorhees will he die. Jason had a sister, your girlfriend's mother, Diana. Now that she's dead, he has only 2 blood relatives left in the world with the power to kill him or make him reborn. Jessica and her baby.
Gotta get out of here. I've gotta protect them.
The only way to do that is to kill Jason, and you can't. But Jessica can. Tell Jessica about her birthright. Make her believe you. Go to the Voorhees house, find proof. Because if you don't, Jason will kill her. And your baby.
It's
so
just
he's
so
trying to get to that
stupid.
baby.
Yeah, and it's just it's stupid. It's just really stupid. I mean, I've seen it done before. You know, there's been other movies where they've had to like put the soul. I think what was it Ghostbusters 2? It's like a famous one where he has to like go into the soul of a child, and I know, stupid reference, but it is what it is. That's what you're gonna get out of this. It's just so bad, and maybe even more so than any of this, Jason's not in it, and the fact when Jason is in it, he looks
It's
friggin'
blown to
terrible.
smithereens.
This is one of the worst looking Jasons I've ever seen in a movie. He's like grotesquely like bubbly. That's like a good word for it. His mask like doesn't fit his face because his body's like all stretched out and morphed, and his hair strings are like all over the place, and it looks like a Doc Brown with his hair falling out at times. He looks so fake. You know, when we get into the future, you would think, oh, practical is going to make it better. It got worse. Jason actually got worse as the series went on. This is by far, I would argue, this is the worst looking Jason we've had. He makes Baghead Jason look more like the Jason Voorhees we know than this one. And he's not even wearing a hockey mask. He's got a bag on his head.
I will say what they did carry over from all the other Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
Is the terrible actors in the movie.
Oh my god. Every single person.
Like each person, especially like the kid that's like the son of the lady that owns that restaurant. Like, I don't see the point of him ever at all. Like, he walks out there like he's gonna go do something.
Stop! I mean it!
And then just dies.
You know who's worse?
Instantly.
Oh, I won't say worse. There is one good character in this movie.
Yeah.
Stephen Williams playing Creighton Duke.
I'm going to say 2 words to you, Mr. Duke, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Shoot.
Jason Voorhees.
Well, that makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Oh, okay.
He's Mr. Cowboy Bounty Hunter Man. While he's probably not good.
That's my lady you're talking about.
Well, now, see, she is only your lady because she ain't had a taste of the Duke yet. Careful, careful, Chief. I don't think you really know who I am.
I know who you are. The last thing we need around here is some freako bounty hunter causing trouble.
But he's enjoyable. I kind of enjoyed him when he was on the screen. I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed that little bit of crazy that was in his eye. I feel like maybe that was the movie they were trying to go for. I think it's before this movie. I could be wrong. There was the Friday the 13th television series where that was a series about like supernatural, like X-File-y kind of cases where things happened. It had nothing to do with actually Jason. It had to do with like just supernatural things happening and whatnot. So I feel like the Creighton Duke character was like, I feel like he would have been like a bounty hunter going after paranormal things, and then Jason would have been something he came across. So his performance, I'll give it. Stephen Williams is a pretty cool dude. He steals the scene. There's a scene where he's interviewing the Robert, played by Stephen Culp. He's the one he's dating. What would she be? I guess that's his half sister. That would be his half niece. whatever.
Yeah, I
he's
guess.
he's like the baby daddy for the half niece, and he's in jail. So Robert's in jail with Duke, and Duke's like he's like trying to give Robert information, but Duke's like, you gotta pay the price. And he's like breaking his fingers as they go.
See, everything and everyone has a price. And the cost of this is very, very high. Are you ready to pay?
What's the price?
Are you ready to pay?
Yes. Oh, fuck!
Why is this happening? I don't know. I really don't have an answer for you why this is
So
happening.
stupid.
But it was kind of cool. It was kind of funny. It was because he's just so cool and crazy. I found it entertaining. It was mesmerizingly bad. That's the best way I could put it. Mesmerizingly bad. Oh, and then, like I said, the effects are absolutely garbage. I mean, my green screen looks better than half of these movies. Half of the effects in this movie, when they're grabbing Jason to go to hell and they have like these hands that look like gloves popping out of the ground or whatever, and they have lights shooting out with these practical like eye video effects. It looks terrible. And then the soundtrack is even worse. The soundtrack's absolutely garbage in this movie. It's like the same song just played over and over again. And it's so like loud and obtrusive in the scenes when it's happening.
Oh, shit!
Besides maybe like the gore being kind of interesting, and like I said, the inclusion of the Evil Dead, Freddy nods, and Duke's kind of interesting. That's about it. That's all that's in this movie.
Yeah, it was hard going through this movie and finding like good things to say about it because it was just so bad. You wanted it to be like another group took over this movie, like the franchise or the Jason Voorhees side of it.
Right.
And you thought like they would have, for your first time getting, like you're paying for this, you figured you would put out a decent movie. But to throw out this is like, you kind of just like threw money away. Like,
It's like
it's bad.
I want to sit in a world like I wish I would love to one day just sit down and take like a pen, right, and just rewrite the script to this movie, because there's got to be a way to make it good in some way. Like there must have been something justifiable with what they were trying to do. I don't know what that was. Maybe trying to restart the franchise with a new Jason monster, but I think ultimately it was to try and set up like Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, that whole thing. But again, it's just I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why they learn from part 5. Like, I know it's not the same people that own it. You know what I mean? We know it's New Line that owns it now, but didn't they realize like, oh, not having Jason Voorhees in your movie probably isn't the best idea because that's what people are going to see. That's what they're there for.
I don't know.
Well, also the fact that they paid to have Jason Voorhees in this movie,
Yeah.
then he's not in the movie.
No.
That should just tell you everything right there. When it says Jason goes to hell, it's like you're expecting more Jason, and this lacks Jason, and this lacks intelligence. It always.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you want to be really, really honest with this, Jason did go to hell, you know, because he didn't come back for quite a long time after this movie. You know, it took a long time to recover from this, and
So did the franchise.
yeah, there's good reason. But I think we're at that point, though, where we're going to give our Real Kill Award. Due to the nature of the season, myself and John will now select a recipient of the Real Kill Award, a special award given to the kill we think is the highlight of the film. John, who would you like to present your award to?
The award I give to is Edna getting her head slammed. I kind of thought it was like a cool kill and a unique one. It's just one of those kills that I thought was interesting. I didn't see too many kills that I liked, so.
You know what? It was okay. I just, I don't know. The effect just bothers. I didn't think the effect was that good. Like her face all smashed in. I just didn't do much for me. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, though. There really wasn't much to choose from. But there's one in particular I really do like. I would like to present my real kill award to Deputy Josh, who starts melting. So at this point, Jason's transferred his body, right? He's jumping to another body. He was in the deputy's body. And he just transferred his body, transferred his soul to another body. After he does that, you just get this gross, like disgusting melting scene where the deputy, he just starts melting all over the place. His skin's falling off. His jaw drops to the floor. It's just incredibly graphic and unsettling and gross. I know it's tough to say because, technically Jason did and didn't kill him, but I would have to award it to that because it's just incredibly unsettling, that whole that sequence. I gave this movie a lot of crap for the effects, but that one in particular, I thought that was pretty well done overall. Just a cool sequence, if anything, came out of this movie. Seeing someone melt is pretty gnarly. The only other one that I would say, if there's a scene where there's this girl, Deborah, she's having sex with a guy out in a tent, and fake Jason, I guess that's what we're going to call him, or Jason who's possessing the doctor in the beginning, he breaks into the tent and he stabs her with a pole, and then he lifts the pole up and splits her in half. I thought that was pretty gross and graphic. Like, that was like a classic Jason Voorhees kill. When I saw that, in a way, I'm like, all right, maybe there's a little hope for this movie. Fortunately, that definitely was not the case. Do you think there's any hope for this idea, or do you think it was just too far gone?
I mean, I think all these movies could have been saved just by better storytelling, better directing. I don't know. Like,
combination of all those, or just one of them at least being strong. When everything's bad in a movie, it's really hard to find something enjoyable.
It's always a shame.
This was the hardest for me.
It's always a shame to me to see how much money's wasted on certain things. Like this movie, I feel like money was wasted. I feel like the franchise got wasted with this.
It was a waste of potential. It's like I said earlier, I'd be curious to hear what the pitch was for this movie. Like whoever, when they pitched the script for this, I would have been interested to hear it. Like what was their thought process behind this? I would love to sit down and like be in that meeting and hear what they had to say, because apparently they thought it was a good idea to not have Jason in the movie again, and clearly that's not the case because he comes back around very shortly.
Well, I would also like to hear the pitch and then how it changed so much, because there's no way that you could have pitched this idea to reasonable people and they would have been like,
reasonable
sounds
people.
Amazing.
I agree. Reasonable people being the key to that statement. I think we're at that point, though, the review. We're going to give our final scores. I'm going to give Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, again, unsurprisingly, an F.
I got a gun. Fuck that. I got a gun.
This movie's garbage. It has a notorious reputation of being, if not the worst in the series, being one of the worst horror movies ever made, and I'd stand by that. It's there, especially because I think there's expectation behind it for me. That's why, like, with a purebred series like Friday the 13th or the character of Jason Voorhees in general, you have some level of expectation to come out of this movie. Even the other ones I've given Fs to, Jason Takes Manhattan's another story, but, New Beginning got an F. Jason wasn't in it. That was clearly why that got an F. Manhattan got an F because it just destroyed the series, and this was like if he was already like dead in the coffin, this was like him literally lighting his corpse on fire to make sure he's ash. That's what this was. But John, where do you stand on this movie?
I stand right next to you with an F.
Yes!
I feel like this movie was so bad. I feel like this is the worst movie in the whole thing.
I
Like,
hate
this
to
is
say,
the worst.
Do you feel like your
Jason
time
movie.
was wasted? I hate
I
to
do.
feel that way. I feel like I'll never get that time back after watching this movie.
The fact too, after watching this movie, after watching Jason Goes to Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
watching this movie being this is so much worse than that, I feel like too.
Right.
I just feel like it's so terrible. Like, it almost makes me question this whole Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees going forward in a way, you know?
No, I agree with you. I couldn't agree more with you. It's a shame to see where Jason went, and it's interesting to see where Jason's going to go next. So make sure you tune in next time for another video. John, where can the people find us at home?
You can find us on YouTube, The Real Movie Guys on YouTube. Like our channel, subscribe. We would like subscribers. Also, leave comments down below to tell us,
Yeah.
did you like this? What did you think of this movie? Maybe what is one of your favorite kills of this movie?
I'm curious.
throughout
If
all
you
the
like
movies.
this movie, I want to know. Like, if someone does like this movie, let us know. I'm really curious to see another perspective on this one because I couldn't find anything. And there are defenders. I mean, it's like any movie you watch. There's some people that do enjoy this. Please crawl out of the woodwork and let us know why you enjoyed this because I'd really love to hear it, to be honest.
We also would love to hear you on Twitter. We're at The Real Movie Guy on Twitter. We would like to hear, like, tell us what you think could have been done with this movie to
Yeah, you
save
rewrite
it.
it
Or
to us. Maybe we'll do a series like that. If we get, you know what, I'll tell you what. If enough of you guys send us in your rewrites for Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Send us your rewrites. If we get enough of them, we'll try to put a video together and we'll pick the best one. You know, maybe that's something we can do. Just, you know, send us what you would do. It just could be like a brief blurb. And don't be a smart ass, you know, don't be like, not make it. You know, no, we give us something. Give us a rewrite. Let us know what you guys think. I'd be interested to see that too. Maybe if we get enough of them, like I said, maybe we could put something together and, you know, interact with you guys on it.
And you can also find us on many podcasting platforms such as...
Yes, indeed. For your listening pleasure, we are available in podcast form at iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Be sure to give us a listen at any of those fine places. If you already are right now, hey, greatly appreciate it. Just search Real Movie Guys. We should pop right up. Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of The Real Review. My name's Kevin. This guy over here, he's John. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. And don't worry, there are more scares to come as Real Terror Month continues.